So Disney has learned that wokeism doesn't pay. At least this is my viewing after joining in on the shareholder live stream that they did as a company. And they spent the first half being like, "Oh, isn't Disney great? We've got all this content. Look, we're doing great." And then the shareholders joined in the Q&A section. Were like, "Why are you wasting all my money on woke leftist crap?" So I thought we'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
So we'll start off just by mentioning something on the website, being the Ethical Companies podcast. This is collectivist collectivist ends without collectivist means. You know, stakeholder capitalism. You know that term.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, we abandon the idea that you should make money for your shareholders, and instead we're like, yeah, but what about global warming in South Asia? I'm a bakery in Swindon, but okay, go and check that out. It's the reason as to why all these companies are. It's the justification, not the reason. It's the justification they use for why they do all this crap. We'll start off with Dylan Mulvaney because can't get away from him apparently. This blew up, of course, because he got Bud Light sponsorship. You know, because all the drinkers of Bud Light are gay men. I think that's how we're going to view it in the future, at least.
We are. And then there's the other disturbing one, the one in the bath, which I particularly found disturbing. I didn't get what that was to do with beer at all.
Well, I mean, beer commercials are usually like women, drunk, fast cars.
Yes.
Now it's become transgender. We'll get to the next one here because, of course, Ollie London pointed out that the dude is getting paid, tens of thousands of dollars from literally everyone. He's got a big list there, Tampax, because why not? And everyone else for some reason. And the last one here just being he has literally every promo known to man. I mean, there's Svenska vodka. Well, not Svenska, but okay. Walmart. Sure. It's, Mac apparently.
Rent the Runway. What's Rent the Runway?
I don't know. Probably some high heel brand or something. Point being, dude's got every corporate American sponsorship under the sun. In which case, I mean, there have been a couple of responses to that I've seen. Lauren Southern correctly observed that, well, I think the right have lost the culture war in regards to corporate America. I was like, yeah, I think you're right, Lauren. That's damn true. And Matt Walsh responded by basically observing the same thing. And then came to the conclusion of, hang on a minute, if you actually want to fight this from a guerrilla warfare perspective, because that's where you're at, you need to pick up on what the left did, which is you need to, because the conservatives will get mad at all these brands and try and boycott everything, and good luck, obviously. But he's like, well, no, if you want to change this, you've got to pick one scalp, really scalp it, and then move on to the next company by company, because that's how they fell in line to doing what they're doing now. If you want to reverse that trend.
Yeah, but I think it's because the right have been so confused. They're like a rabbit in a headlight. They don't know how to respond. They're called names. They're worried about that. And it's not as if the left have so much more money than the right. There are those on the right who have the finance who can push back on this. But it's just utter fear, I guess, of being cancelled. And because the left are so confident in the BS, that I guess the right don't know how to push back on that.
Well, it was the way Twitter was owned, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember the early days when the idea of a Twitter mob was weird and new. And it would go after some company and the company would bend the knee. And everyone would be like, why would you do that? They're just Twitter weirdos.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Well, Twitter's got some new owners. So, time to have some fun, I think.
Yeah.
One company that's not having fun is Disney. And this is where I point to Matt and just say, you want a single target? I think we've already got it, folks. And there's actually some results here as well, which is why I mentioned the stockholder Zoom call they had. So this is the stock price for Disney. As you can see, used to peak about $200, now down to about $100. Not going great. This is obviously similar for a lot of companies in the tech industry and entertainment because COVID and all that. And yeah, there's some truth to this. Definitely is.
It's simple, but it's, again, it's a confusion of why the company exists. Does it exist to give wholesome entertainment for kids, or is it about
it's about
certain
making money.
agenda? It used to be. It used to be at one point.
It's like, what if we make money? Yeah, that's pretty good. I like money. Do you like money?
But
Yeah.
the danger is a lot of parents will still sign up, will still subscribe, will still want it because they remember what Disney was like, which is wholesome entertainment. And I know whenever you even engage with parents, they can't even comprehend that Disney would be bad because it's beautiful, it's pure, yeah.
That may have been the case, but there's been a hell of a wake up, and I
Yeah.
can prove it. And this is the scalp I think the conservatives should keep battering until Disney starts pumping out pro-masculinity propaganda again, or just not even pro-masculinity, just normal stuff instead of like, what if my queer older characters for no reason? Stop, get some help, produce entertaining content again. And that's the point at which you stop boycotting. That's the way you solve that. But we'll go.
But wasn't it one of the board had a trans child, and then they were one of the ones behind it. So on each Disney film production, they wanted to bring these specific agendas in.
Internal infiltration for sure.
Yes, but I'm glad it is the shareholders that are complaining about it who are raising this issue.
Yeah. Because we'll go to the news about Coda real quick. This is just, as you can see here, this is from 2020. Disney lost $1.4 billion due to coronavirus last quarter. It's going well. They mentioned that 91% drop in income during the lockdowns. To be fair, that was pretty normal for every major company during that period, but yeah, wasn't great. They had to let go 30,000 employees. But then, as we all remember, money printer went burr, and stock market continued. Every company was losing all of its money, and yet their stock price was going up, which was a hell of a time to be alive. But I made some money actually trading Weatherspoon's shares during that.
I remember talking about that.
They were just bleeding money, but their stock kept going up. I was like, all right, I'm in. All right, I'm out. That was 100 quid, thanks. See ya. But until late 2021, when all the tech boom completely crashed for all the big tech companies, but also the entertainment companies. Because you may remember Disney Plus, or at least you may know Disney Plus. They tried that. You subscribe to Disney Plus? I never did. I'm not even subscribed to Netflix.
No.
No point.
But look, they obviously saw Netflix running away with something and thought, we don't want to be late to the game. And I guess the amount of money you have to put in, because you want exclusive content, and they were arguing, we got this exclusive content, we're paying a ton for it. And obviously they're nowhere near making any profits on any of it.
Because if you get the next link, we can see that, which is Disney Plus being a thing, and user statistics. If you scroll down on this, there should be some graph at some point that shows them like compared to Netflix, as in like the growth rate and the number of subscribers. It's not that one. It's the one that shows two lines, one red and one not red. And the point being that obviously they wanted that to become the new thing. Bubble burst because no one's locked in their homes anymore, so no one has to be obsessed with your streaming service.
And they've jumped on as Netflix subscribers are pulling away. So
Yeah.
it's like the most stupid time, but
This is the weird thing about that graph, because I mean the big thing for Netflix is
Yeah.
like it just wasn't growing.
Yeah.
And investors want growth. So of course that's why their stock price completely collapsed. As you can see, Disney Plus is still growing, but it's not good enough. I mean, even there, what is that? Like 160 million people are paying $7 a month to Disney. I mean, just number one, don't pay Netflix either. You can get that stuff through other legal means. But we'll go to the data, because the LA Times had a thing on this. Disney Plus keeps growing fast, but the streaming service is still losing $1.5 billion. That's a quarter, I think. Which, okay, well, you got to spend money to build a platform and then make money. That's the strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, on the Zoom call, we'll get to it a bit, someone actually mentions in there, that, well, how many people in America are actually able to pay for a streaming service? Never mind our streaming service on top of Netflix.
yeah.
And, well, it's a capped market. Disney Plus needs to make another 200 million users. Another 200 million people need to be paying them $7 a month. So,
Because people are locked into really Netflix, and then if people want to get their stuff next day, then it's Amazon, so you pay for that. So they have to offer something extra to be kind of the third one.
So yeah, I mean, strange business strategy. Like, yeah, we're going to absorb 160 million people and then a whole Netflix on top of that, and then we'll break even, and then we'll make money. It's like, okay, good luck. Good luck with that one. So yeah,
1.5 billion, that is beautiful. That is... sorry, just enjoying that.
I'd love to see. And you've got to do that without everyone being locked in their homes. And then you've got ESPN Plus and everything else. I think it was Comcast has their own one now, Peacock or whatever. Crap. And I think Knowledge Hub did a very good video just talking about why this whole streaming wars is retarded. And no one's going to win that, because why would you? It's just a terrible model. Like, once it's not just one streaming service, but you've got to pay for 10, like, you might as well just not bother. Because now you're paying $8 to 10 different groups. But we'll go on to the next one here, because, yeah, there's some other dealings. Russia was one of them that Disney did. You can see here in 2022 they decided they would pause all operations in Russia indefinitely. So,
what can Russia not? That's what. But surely, if they want to indoctrinate, they want to indoctrinate the Russians.
You would have thought. Instead, they also, like I mentioned many a time, like if you go to Russia right now, McDonald's isn't there.
Yeah.
Burger King is. And if you want to sit there and tell me McDonald's deeply cares about the moral reasons, I'm not going to listen, because this is just not true. No, nobody cares about the deep moral. No, come on. I mean, Walt Disney here have also pulled out, and I'm sure for moral reasons, they swear. Except, well, you go to the next link, we can see the company changed a bit. As you can see here, Disney workers walk out over Don't Say Gay bill. This is last year. And then the company got in big trouble because they were like, I don't know. maybe teaching elementary school kids about anal sex is a bit not really a Disney brand. Guys, can we not do this? And all the leftist workers they hired were like, no, that's why I came to work for you, to promote that we go to elementary school kids and be like, yes, so this is how anal sex works. Weird thing to do with your life, I would have thought. But if you hire leftists, that's what you're going to end up with as workers.
I don't know how they can find Disney workers in Florida. That's what worries me.
Well, we'll get back to some of those workers. But yeah, the next one here, I mean, they actually completely screwed themselves because they ended up not wanting to promote that, but then ended up promoting it anyway. Apparently, internally, there was a big discussion about, oh, I really don't want to go down this route, but then, we hired all these people, and this is the direction we're going. So they did eventually put out a statement being like, we disagree with the bill that's trying to stop leftists from indoctrinating school children. So, of course, now everyone hates them. And rightfully so.
I remember back in April 2022, I was in LA and there was a huge demonstration outside their headquarters there. Just parents furious, and there were maybe 1,000, 1,500 parents. And I think that was the first time I realized there is a bit of a backlash against what's happening. It is coming from parents because they're worried about the impact on children. And that just has to grow on this.
Not to mention, when you start talking about how we kind of love groomers, you end up with some scrutiny about your employees. If you go to the next link here, there was a lot of scrutiny immediately after that bill, you may remember, in which everyone was like, kind of a lot of paedophiles who work at Disney for some reason. So yeah, there's a lot of safeguarding that should be involved here, and you don't seem to be doing your best, at least. You see the sheriff there, 124 people arrested. Human trafficking ring. Disney security guard is one of them.
Yep, shows up by there. That was an interesting one.
And then there's just article after article after article.
What kind of show was that?
So, yeah, not a good time to be a Disney shareholder when that happens. But then if you go to the next one as well, I mean, then the retarded leftists who work at Disney just joined live streams that were publicly viewable, talking about, quote, my not at all secret gay agenda that I insert into everything I build, such as queering characters for no reason. You know, I think the public had noticed, and were like, why are random characters just becoming gay in these remakes? No reason. Well, I mean, she is partly responsible, she says. I don't know why we're taking her word for her actions. That's mad, but she said it live on a Disney stream. And I think she's in charge of, like, what is it? I can't remember which department she was in charge of or whatever, but she was high enough that she was invited to, like, the CEO meeting. As you can see, Chris Rufo reporting there.
But I wonder, is it actually parents getting on as shareholder? Because, again, you see the school board meeting, you see parents getting involved, pushing back and actually changing stuff. And I don't know where it's possible to actually change it on the shareholder level at Disney.
Well, we'll see. Because if you get the next one, they also decided to prove that they had nothing to do with nonsense, because Disney were like, hang on, okay, we're getting some calls about this from the shareholders. So what we're going to do is we're going to team up with a group that sang a song called We're Grooming Your Children. Bugger!
Wrong song.
Yeah. As you see, they teamed up with the San Francisco LGBT Choir for family-friendly Pride concerts. The same group that sang the We're Coming for Your Children song. And then a few of their members turned out to be convicted pedophiles.
So they have a family-friendly Pride concert.
I no.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it's smoke and mirrors for something else. But whilst up to all of this, which didn't go well with people who hold stock in Disney and were like, why is my stock going down endlessly? Well, they also did the usual tomfoolery that Disney does, such as race swapping. See here, this is Beauty and the Beast. Let's race swap her. All right. Go to the next one, Tinkerbell. Yeah, that needed a race swap. You know the problem with Tinkerbell? White. Okay. Ariel, of course. People are yeah, right. The race swap the mermaid because, I mean, she's ginger as well. I mean, that's a real.
I was going to say,
real
keep the ginger
shift.
hair at least. Come on.
That's only ever goes one way as well. Not to mention, throughout all this period in which the stock price kept crashing down to under $100, well, they also had the Chinese stuff. You may remember they do the typical Chinese thing of remove the black guy from the poster. Do you see that there? That's literally what they did. They're like, yeah, it's not going to go down on the Chinese market. So interesting. You may remember earlier when you might have thought they had left Russia for more reasons. They don't have any morals. What are you playing at? This weird world.
You mean money talks?
Maybe. Except when it comes to Western ideology, that's the important thing. Because then we go Ron DeSantis, who came out and just went out of their tax status when he tried to, ban them talking to elementary kids about anal sex. And Disney were like, but that's all they exist for. And Ron was like, maybe you don't deserve a special tax status anymore. Maybe something's gone really wrong. There's also the news in here that what is it? The CCP owns 57% of Disney Shanghai.
Wow.
So apparently they got Disney World in China.
Mm.
And the CCP obviously owns the majority of it, because you can't operate a business there without
Yep,
the CCP
yep.
owning a majority of its big business. So they can't actually even own their own park over there. So there's that question as well, because not only are you catering your movies for them and your posters, your own Disney World isn't even owned by you. CCP owns it directly. So the idea that they don't have an unbelievable amount of leverage over Disney is obvious.
But the
that that's
DeSantis
the
thing
case.
in Florida, I mean, all credit to him for taking on probably one of the biggest employers in the state
Yeah.
and going head on with them.
And you can see in the next, that political article where he's just like, yeah, you guys need to go. And of course, the shareholder meeting happened. And all the headlines I saw from the media was the following one. As you can see from Market Watch, is just, some aggregate. Disney CEO Bob Iger blasts DeSantis over anti-business retaliation. And it was like, oh my god, yeah, he's standing up to the corrupt politicians who are trying to keep big business down. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know who would believe in this, but that's the headline I saw. Now, the reality from the stockholder meeting was far more fun. And this is why I say to Matt Walsh, etc., you got your target. You're on target. Just throw the missile in and blow up the Death Star. There's not much more to it. Because, well, as we'll see, they had a meeting, and the desperate pleas from the shareholders was the following. Please stop being China-loving scum. Stop being leftists, and stop trying to groom our kids. Thank you. We'll meet next year.
Those are fair concerns, I think.
I thought it was an
Yeah.
interesting thing to say.
Yeah.
Because they seem to do a Q&A session and also take proposals from the shareholders. So presumably there's some voting about which proposals even get proposed, right? And the Q&As, I presume, selected randomly from whoever is just in the queue for shareholder call. So let's deal with the first one. This is a proposal scheme. So we'll hear the proposal from the proponent.
The National World War II Museum is hosting an exhibit about how Walt Disney and his company supported the war effort. For example, the Disney studio lot in Burbank was converted into a military base almost overnight after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Disney Studios immediately began work on training videos for topics like how to spot enemy planes. Demonstrating sacrifice, Walt's now beloved classics of the early 1940s like Pinocchio and Bambi suffered early box office losses due to the war effort. Producing the training videos cheaply, Walt said, quote, "I don't like this profit during war when people are out there giving up their lives," end quote. It's quite a contrast to today's Walt Disney Company. As we highlight in proposal number 5, Disney has cozied up to the communist regime in China. According to the U.S. State Department, the dictatorship is guilty of slavery, forced organ harvesting, genocide, and many other human rights horrors. Rather than take the financial hit for principle like Walt did, instead the company thanked the Uyghur torturers in Xinjiang for letting Mulan be filmed in their province, for one example. Disney also capitulates to the Chinese government's every censorship demand in order to retain access to their market. And rather than enlist its artists against oppressive forces like Walt did, Disney instead infuses its cartoon features with mature adult themes that American parents don't want their kids exposed to. That led to 2 box office bombs for its top 2 animated theatrical releases last year. It's also what cost Disney its special tax district around its theme parks in Orlando. Upon his return at the end of last year, Mr. Iger said about the company's critical relationship with the state of Florida, quote, "To the extent that I can work to kind of quiet things down, I'm going to do that," end quote. But instead, we saw last week Mr. Iger escalate hostilities against the Sunshine State regarding the district. That's why Mr. Iger and this entire board that presided over last year's disaster cannot be trusted and should be opposed on your proxy ballots.
That's the first thing that was said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can hear there, I believe that's the secretary or something, and the CEO are all having to sit there and listen to this. As their own shareholders are like, "You're useless, we can't trust you, you love China, you commie-loving red bastards, get lost." And they just have to sit there and be like, "Thank you for your call. So that'll be put to a vote." We'll find out the results soon. So I love it.
Was this stuff public or was it leaked? I wonder.
This was publicly live streamed.
Public live?
I don't know
Okay.
why Disney does this.
Wow.
Presumably they thought they just are perfect and no one would
Yeah.
ever say anything wrong. But no, even their own mad people who are like, and I mean that in a good way, like fanatics for Disney, who love Disney. They got the cap, they got like a year pass where they can go wherever they want or something. And even they are calling out, just being like, you need to go. Can't stand you. And it's not just that one guy, as we'll see. A whole bunch of other people who called out hate Disney. The defense from the Disney executives, though, as to why they have to trans you kids, is that this is basically World War II. This is the Holocaust. And if we're on the wrong side of history, we'll be on the wrong side of the Holocaust, won't we, folks? It's not very convincing.
No.
But we'll hear it anyway.
My interest in Disney's corporate charitable contributions was sparked when Disney spoke out on two controversial issues, gay sex and abortion. The first concerned a proposed Florida law on when and how elementary students should be taught about gay relationships. The other issue is when Disney decided it would help some employees skirt valid laws in their states if they wanted to get an abortion. Disney's positions were worse than wrong. They were stupid. They would have a material impact on only a small percentage of our employees while silencing many others. In addition, these policies could possibly alienate millions of our current and potential customers. As we have learned, virtue signaling has its costs.
Regarding the last question brought up, I disagree that Disney has an obligation to take political positions that are detrimental to the overall company. It's just pointless.
I think if you look back, for decades, corporate America has expressed themselves on numerous issues of both right and wrong, and our country, I think, is better off for that. And this was evident during the civil rights era, as I recall as a child, when a lot of companies weighed in on injustices that they saw in America. It was certainly true during World War II, when those that stood in silence, in some ways, still carry the stain of indifference. So as long as I'm in the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect, and trust our instincts that when we do weigh in, we weigh in because the issue is truly relevant to our business and to the people that work for us.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis is basically Hitler. We gotta stand up, otherwise we'll be on the wrong side of history.
He didn't mention making money as something that he'll be guided by.
No. I want to give you as well, like, the era of shareholders go down was under some other CEO. Like, this guy was the CEO, and then that guy took over, and it, halved. So, they've brought him back. Like, this is his first shareholder meeting back. And even then, he turns up and is like, well, I care about money. I care about being on the right side of Hitler, who's in charge of Florida. Yeah, okay.
It's not a pressure group. It's an entertainment organization.
I
used to be.
Thought it was a company.
Yeah.
But and this doesn't end. Some guy joins who's just my favorite, who just turns up and is like, please stop, for the love of God. Let's play him.
Hello, Bob. I'd like to address what I view as the elephant in the room. Over the last few years, Disney has turned from a place of magic for children to an ideological company serving LGBTQ, IA+, however many other letters you want to add to that, lobbies to groom children. Over and over again, we see how your films and entertainment are increasingly promoting the woke agenda. How can you explain to parents worldwide that you recently celebrated 100 years of history by collaborating with the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus to produce an LGBTQ, IA+, themed Disney musical? This is a group who have explicitly stated that they want to indoctrinate children. They literally sang a concert, and they sang the words, "We will convert your children quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it." Disney chose to collaborate with these predators to sing to children. How can you explain to parents worldwide that over the next few months, dozens of highly sexualized gay pride parades will take place in Disneyland parks worldwide, the exact places where they used to take their children for fun? Are you surprised that Disney's audience has plummeted, losing 2.4 million subscribers in the last quarter? If you are really interested in refloating Disney, please turn Disney back to the apolitical fun place that it used to be, and I bet that you'll win back both the trust of families and the stock market. Thank you.
Yeah, I see people in the chat being like, go off, King. Absolutely. And all these people have got their money invested. That's the thing. Like, these are the guys who actually make your business exist through owning the shares. Like, the fanatics of Disney are all sat there being like, please stop, the love of God. The leftism is killing the business.
But as leftism is a cult, actually there is no end, and it doesn't matter if they destroy themselves, they will somehow be happy with that, as we've seen in the Democrat-controlled states. States collapsed into oblivion, and they're happy with that because they're so ideologically caught up with this cult.
It's absolutely true that those people who are in it to the end.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like the new CEO is interested more. I mean, the share price might go to $1, and then 4chan could buy it all up for a laugh, I guess, like they did with GameStop. But
which is why I'm kind of up for the push they have for abortions. I think go forth. The Republican conservative states can stop them. You can have as many as you like, and we'll see what happens at the end.
But the thing being that, like, if you're a shareholder, like, the correct thing is just to boot the company, like, coup it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, now we make right-wing propaganda. That's what Disney World is about now. No more, oh, guys, let's take the kids to Disney World. I don't know. There's a lot of guys in dog costumes because it's Pride for some reason. They're all walking on their hands and feet. I don't know if I want the kids being around there. Instead, you're going to turn up and there's going to be, I don't know, 1 million cops checking if there's any Mexicans trying to enter or something.
Yeah.
What's the left-wing fantasy of like what right-wingers would do to the country, I guess? And even that is just like, yeah, well,
But I've
at
talked
least I
to
can take my kids.
I've talked to parents who've been to Disney parks, and they've come back to me and they've kind of dropped in the conversation. Oh yeah, there was a Pride parade. I said, yeah, I've been talking to you about this for years, but then they saw it and thought,
Hang on a minute.
something doesn't fit here. And, oh, my kids, oh, quickly cover your eyes. And they suddenly got it because they saw it with their own eyes and thought this doesn't fit with our understanding of what kids should actually be.
Did they want to go back after that experience?
They were debating because obviously if you buy an annual ticket, I think, well, you're going to screw your child even more. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reality, and it's great to see. Like, it's not nothing burger. It's not just internet people. Like, no, people who are fanatics about Disney, not just like random shareholders who own, like, I don't know, a few stocks or something. Like, these guys are all going off about how they've been with the company for 13 years. They own all the merch. They go every summer or something to Disney World. They're crazy about Disney. Own all the movies. Probably watch everything they make, right? And they're all sat there in this shareholders meeting a couple of days ago, just being like, "Look, stop, please! I can't stand it." And it's great to see. But we'll end it off with something that I thought was very funny, which is the whole stream went on and on with these people calling up being like, I hate you. And then very organically, because I don't know how the phone calls are selected, the last phone call was some woman who just happened to call up and praise diversity. Like a priest. It was really weird. So we'll play that. This was the ending of the stream.
Good morning from the comeback city of Detroit, Michigan. We would like to commend Disney for their commitment to diversity and inclusion throughout the organization.
Yeah, that's how it ended. And then it cut to, I thank you everyone for joining. I probably should have clipped it, but it did actually like fade out and then go to clown music. It was quite funny.
Should have started with that.
Yeah, it was the did. You'll have to go and check out the stream yourselves. You see, there's the link. And if you go right there, you will hear the clown music, which was the sign off, which was beautiful. But I just love how she joined. I mean, I didn't even notice. Coming from the comeback city of Detroit. Yeah, it's really coming back.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, whatever. She just turned out to be like, I love diversity and I thank Disney for diversity. And then she just hung up. And that was it. But yeah, we are. If you want a scalp, write us. You've got one right there. You're being successful. The company's value's halved in a year. So, you know, that's pretty good for a start. And otherwise, you've got the shareholders on board already. Just keep pushing. And I don't know. Not only can you help Ron DeSantis in his fight, but you can actually get a victory, in which case that's your first scalp. And seems ready for the taking. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on the business cycle. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.